I'm speaking to you in an even voice, not because there's no fire in me, but because I learned how to keep it inside instead of throwing it to the wind. Calm is not softness. Calm is not surrender. It's what's left in a person after enough cold dawns. When the stone beneath your boots is harder than your doubts, and the air cuts your lungs as if it's asking whether you truly have the right to continue. It's what remains after days when you couldn't afford to panic, because panic doesn't hold a shield steady. I've watched people break not from a blow, but from the moment they started believing someone else's laughter. I've watched rejection burn deeper than a wound, because a wound hurts the body, but rejection tries to strike at meaning. And still, I learned one thing. You don't have to be loved to be steady. You only have to be faithful to what you chose. My life has held plenty of iron and plenty of dust. Wet wood, smoke from fires, coarse cloth against raw hands, the creak of straps when you pull armor tight. But if we speak honestly, metal only reflects what's happening inside. The real battle doesn't begin when a blade is raised against you. It begins when doubt is raised inside you, when you're made to feel unnecessary, when you're looked through like a shadow pressed to a wall, when people laugh, sometimes loudly, sometimes almost gently, like it's a harmless jest. Yet your heart tightens all the same. In moments like that, you want to disappear. Not argue, not explain, not fight, just stop being seen. That's human. That's natural. But courage isn't never feeling it. Courage is refusing to hand the reins to fear. Let fear ride beside you. Let it mutter and complain. But don't let it steer. Hear it, admit it, and still choose your direction. Courage is when something trembles in you and you do the right movement anyway, because you decided you would be the one who keeps his word. I've known men who spoke about strength beautifully. They loved to dream of the day it would all become easier, when the body would obey without protest, when the road would finally answer, when they'd be recognized at last. They spoke to the future as if the future owed them their backbone. But life doesn't do that. It doesn't hand strength over in one bright moment. It gives strength in a small measure, through labor, repetition, fatigue, and patience. Strength rarely looks like a flash. Strength almost always looks like tempering. And tempering is pain that doesn't destroy you if you stay. It makes you denser. It turns what is loose into what is whole. There is a moment nearly everyone meets. If they're walking a true road, you keep moving, but the road feels still. You try, and the world stays silent. You repeat, and nothing seems to appear on the surface. You pour yourself out, and the answer is only quiet. And then a thought arrives, not loud, not dramatic, but small and comfortable. It settles on your shoulders like a warm cloth. Enough, rest, stop. Give in today and it will feel lighter. Give in tomorrow and you'll barely remember why you started. That is doubt. It rarely growls. It persuades. It promises relief as if relief were rescue. But relief can be a trap. Sometimes it's like soft ground at the edge of a cliff. One step and you fall, not because you are weak, but because you trusted comfort too much. And afterward, it becomes hard to explain to yourself how you ended up so far from the person you meant to become. This is where character is decided. Not on the day people clap for you, not on the day everything works, but on the day you are empty, when you're tired, when you want to vanish, when no one expects anything good from you. On that day, the world seems to turn colder on purpose. The stone beneath you feels harder, the air heavier, your hands weaker. You walk into a wind that doesn't end, and every step costs more than it should. And the hardest part isn't even the step. The hardest part is the thought that no one will notice you took it, that your labor will go unseen. Courage is not a beautiful surge. Courage is not a loud vow. Courage is taking the step anyway. Not because you found the perfect words, not because you suddenly became fearless, but because there's something more important than your mood, your decision. You don't ask the day for permission. You take from the day what you can do, and you do it. You may not feel strong, you may doubt, you may be unsettled, but you return to the work again. Without theater, without a hard mask you wear for strangers. You return and you tell yourself quietly, I don't have to shine to keep going. I only have to be honest. I only have to not betray my own word. That's why I keep saying it. Confidence is not an emotion. Confidence is the habit of returning to your work. Emotions change like weather on an open plain. Sun today, rain tomorrow, fog the day after. If you wait for clear skies, you'll live your whole life on the threshold. Habit is armor, not to make you numb, but to protect your decision when feelings strike you like rain on metal, when your body wants to lie down and stay there. Habit is what lifts you not from joy, but from fidelity. My routine became stronger than other people's opinions, not because I despise people. No, I simply understood. People can say anything, but they will not live my road for me. Their words won't lift me in the morning. Their laughter won't make my hand more precise. Their doubts won't teach my lungs to bear the cold. They can stand near you, but they can't stand inside you. Inside you lives only what you choose each day. Not once, in some noble moment, but again and again in the ordinary. And yes, people laughed at me. But I learned quickly, their laughter can become fuel if you know how to hold your fire, and it can become poison if you make it your meaning. Fuel is dangerous. It can warm you or consume you. If you live only to prove them wrong, you become a prisoner of their eyes. They mock you today and you boil. They praise you tomorrow and you soften. They forget you the next day and you go hollow, as if your purpose lived in their attention. You cannot place your meaning in someone else's hands. I learned to keep meaning inside. I built it on action, on something small but repeatable, on something I could do tomorrow even if today was heavy. Because action is the one thing you can truly control when the world is loud. And the more you hold to action, the less the noise can command you. I won't dress this road in pretty cloth. There is a lot of sameness in it. Days can look alike, like stones in a wall. But that is how a fortress is built. A wall doesn't stand on one stone. It stands on hundreds. Every day you return to the work, you place one more stone. Unnoticed. Heavy. Real. Some days your hands shake. Some days your mind is empty. Some days grief sits in your chest. Some days you're angry with yourself. But the stone still goes into place, and the wall grows higher. And one day you turn around and realize you are no longer where you were. For a long time it feels like nothing is changing, yet you are changing. You change where no one sees you. In the cold morning when you don't want to rise. In the repetition that feels dull. In correcting the same mistake again. In learning patience with yourself when you are far from perfect. In continuing without reward. In how you keep your shoulders from collapsing when everything in you wants to bow. You also change in another way. You stop demanding instant glory from yourself. You learn respect for the process. You learn to endure your own imperfection without turning it into a sentence. And here's something deeper than strength is born. Dignity. Dignity is not pride, and it isn't posture. It's an inner straightness. It's the ability to say, at the end of the day, I didn't run. I didn't sell my road for comfort. I did what I could. I didn't betray what I chose. Sometimes that sentence is worth more than any praise, because praise can be accidental, but your fidelity is not. When you can say it honestly, a quiet support appears in your chest, one you can't purchase with applause. People often confuse courage with rage, but rage burns out fast. It flares and steals your air. Courage is deeper. Courage is a soft hardness. It's when you don't become cruel, but you become unmoved. You can be hurt by words, but you cannot be stopped by them. You can feel pain, but you refuse to turn pain into an excuse. You don't spend your life explaining yourself, and you don't throw your responsibility onto the world. You simply keep doing your work because your road is worth more than loud reasons. It's courage without shouting, courage that holds you from the inside. There is a particular kind of drama that people rarely talk about. Long labor without recognition. When others argue and laugh, and you keep working. When you're told you're not that kind of person. When you're made to feel that a place among the strong is not meant for you. When a door closes quietly, without explanation, and you don't even know what you're supposed to fix to open it. You stand before that closed door and you feel weakness, not because you are a coward, but because you are human. Because humans want meaning and fairness. Humans want their effort to be seen. Humans want someone to say, I know you're trying. In that moment, you have a choice. You can leave and save face for others. You can smile, pretend you don't care, and hide where it's safe. You can choose a place where no one laughs because no one expects you to grow. Or you can stay and save face for yourself. Stay not in argument and not in noise. Stay in the work. Stay in daily return. Stay in the calm, stubborn decision. Today I will take my step again. Even if it's a small step, even if it impresses no one, it will matter to you because it is honest. Most courage in life is choosing the second, not because you are sure of victory, but because you are faithful to the road, because you understand if you leave because of shame or someone else's laughter, you won't carry rest with you. You'll carry a heavy shadow, and that shadow will lie over your next decision and the next until you begin to doubt yourself more than you doubt the world. A shadow doesn't shout, it just makes you smaller. Then something happens that few people can see from the outside. A turning point comes without trumpets. It arrives as a small sign of control. You notice you can breathe more evenly under pressure. You panic less. Your attention breaks less often. You return faster after a slip. You endure a little more than yesterday. You learn not to drop the work halfway just because it stopped feeling pleasant. It isn't applause. It's quiet truth. And that truth is stronger than anyone's opinion. Because when you see that you are changing, you become less dependent. You are harder to knock off course. You begin to respect your own labor. And then a higher kind of courage appears. The courage to continue without proof, because you have become your own proof. You stop begging the world to confirm you. You start becoming confirmation. When your hour comes, and it doesn't have to be an hour of blades, just an hour of life where you must stand. What saves you won't be inspiration. What saves you will be what you did in the quiet. Your ability to keep your mind cool when everything inside is loud. Your ability to hold your breath steady when fear is near. Your ability not to scatter. Your ability to do the simple thing correctly. Your steadiness, your training, your habit of rising and returning to the line, even if that line exists only inside you for now. I don't want you to become someone who is always proving himself. Proving is loud and hungry, it eats the heart. I want you to become someone who builds. Building is quiet. Quiet lasts longer. It doesn't require witnesses. It requires fidelity. It requires that you do not abandon the small unseen things that create a strong life. A strong life is rarely assembled from grand gestures. It's assembled from small, faithful steps. If you are in the place right now where it feels like everything is against you, don't argue with it. Don't waste strength on explanations. Don't try to be loved by everyone. Save your strength for one thing, the next step, small, honest, yours. Take it as if that step is the only thing that matters today, because sometimes it is. Sometimes a person wins the day with one step, then he wins the week, then he wins himself. In the end, it won't be someone else's belief that lifts you. It will be your fidelity. Fidelity to the work you chose, fidelity to the person you intend to become, fidelity to your dignity, not as a mask, but as an inner support. Fidelity is what remains when the noise goes away. And if you want real drama, here it is. Life will bring you back to yourself again and again. Back to the same stone, the same cold, the same doubt. And each time it will ask quietly, will you stay or will you give in to comfort? Will you choose growth or will you choose relief? Will you choose fidelity or will you choose an excuse? Courage is answering with action. Other people's laughter is noise. It is always louder at the beginning. It loves first attempts because first attempts are awkward. It loves the moment you are exposed. But noise cannot rise for you. It cannot repeat for you. It cannot endure for you. It cannot walk through the cold. It can only distract. The road can do what noise cannot. And if you hold your road each day, there will come a morning when you realize you can no longer be knocked loose. Not because you turned into stone, but because you became a support. You didn't get louder. You got stronger. Your steps became calmer. Your focus became firmer. Your heart became braver. Not from noise, but from the habit of walking through cold without losing your direction. And you will understand, bravery is not the absence of pain. Bravery is walking beside pain and refusing to let it name you. Then you will hear a new kind of silence, not empty, but strong. The silence of a person who has passed through doubt and did not retreat. A silence you can stand upright inside. A silence where you finally hear yourself without other voices. There is no celebration in it, but there is power. Warm, deep, real. Let the world be loud. Let people be changeable. Let days be cold. Hold your direction. Because in the end, it won't be chance that holds you, and it won't be someone else's mercy. What holds you will be what you forged inside. The habit of not retreating from what you chose. The habit of returning. The habit of standing. And when it becomes very hard, remember this. Courage is not a single moment. Courage is your next step. The quiet strength to lift your head again, set your shoulders again, and do what the day requires. Your road is not what makes you convenient. Your road is what makes you real. And if you keep your eyes on your work, there will come a time when you stop asking whether it will happen. You will simply do it because you became the one who continues.